America is the land of opportunity, and that holds true in the Midwest region of the United States. There are many big cities in the region, such as Chicago, Detroit, and Indianapolis. However, much of the land is more rural in character. This opens manufacturing opportunities, which the region has taken advantage of. This is especially true in the Hoosier State. Whether it is producing automobile parts or metals, manufacturing is a huge part of Indiana's economy. Indiana is also a leader in agriculture. Much of the state's economy relies on the sale of livestock and livestock products. It could be the sale of hogs and cattle or smaller items such as milk and eggs. Indiana does it all. Indiana also heavily relies on farming and selling crops. Across the nation, Indiana is a leader in the production of crops such as corn and soybeans. It takes a bank willing to lend money to businesses in Indiana to allow it to be the successful state it has become. Farmers State Bank is one of many who lend money to businesses hoping to foster mutually beneficial relationships. Farmers State Bank is a locally owned community bank that serves the northern Indiana and southern Michigan regions. Their mission is to foster mutually beneficial relationships, and they believe that the trustworthiness of their institution plays a vital role in this. Because of the importance placed on trust in the banking industry by consumers, the bank prides itself on its long-standing history. Farmers State Bank was initially created in June of 1915 when a group from the Stroh area came together with the hope of opening a financial institution in LaGrange County. The bank officially opened in November of 1915 with a total of 40 stockholders and $35,000 in assets after its first day of business. By 1940, 3 branch offices were successfully opened and assets had grown to over $1 million. In 1973, the bank's headquarters was moved to the LaGrange office, and by 1990, total assets reached $100 million. The current president and CEO of Farmers State Bank, Mr. Joe Pierce, began his service in 2000, and by this time 2 additional locations were opened. In 2005, the bank acquired the First National Bank of Fremont, which included an additional 6 existing locations, and assets grew to $400 million. Several locations have been opened since then, bringing today's total of branch offices to 14 and total assets to over $500 million. Small businesses are the backbone of the U.S. economy and make a huge impact on the local economies. It is for this reason that banks and lending institutions of all sizes have come to the aid of small businesses to assist in providing sufficient funds for these businesses to thrive and continue serving their respective communities. Farmers State Bank seeks to serve local businesses and has been involved in the small business lending industry for many years, aiming to support the communities that house the bank's offices as well as surrounding areas. In order to analyze the impact of small business lending, a quantitative analysis was performed. A regression analysis was implemented to identify relationships between key variables and small business lending. The expectation of the group: the number of proprietors' employees will increase as the number of small business loans increases. At this point, a few notes regarding the data should be known. Error terms are robust to heteroscedasticity and serial correlation. United States proprietors' employment serves as an indicator to overall small business performance. United States gross domestic product per capita serves as an indicator for the United States overall economic performance. U.S. GDP per capita is chained to 2009 U.S. dollars to correct for inflation. The time trend of the data is controlled for by a linear time series. In the regression, the group assumes ceteris paribus, where all unidentified variables are held constant. Specifically, the group also assumes the default risk and market risk are held constant and unchanged regardless of the number of loans. The first regression model focuses on the United States proprietors' employment. The objective of this model is to determine the impact of small business lending in the United States as a whole for all areas regardless of size, demographics, specific industries, etc. The second regression model focuses on proprietors' employment only in non-metropolitan areas of the United States. This regression was also performed to more closely relate the results to the focus bank, Farmers State Bank, considering Farmers State Bank only operates in non-metropolitan areas. When analyzing total proprietors' employment throughout the United States, the number of U.S. small business loans has a positive coefficient of 0.1421. This implies the number of loans has a positive impact on proprietors' employment, which in this study represents overall small business performance. The p-value indicates that our results are statistically significant. However, it should be known that there are only 14 observations. When analyzing the results in the second regression for non-metropolitan proprietors' employment, a similar conclusion was established. The number of loans has a positive coefficient of 0.0158. This indicates an increase in the number of loans results in an increase in non-metropolitan proprietors' employment. The p-value is 0.1370, thereby denoting the variable is statistically significant. Also, for both regressions, the R-squared term was above 0.95, indicating over 95% of the variability of the data is explained by the model. Based on these results, it has been determined that an increased number of loans could have a positive impact on local small business performance. Farmers State Bank's management has a character approach to small business lending where they address both qualitative and quantitative information when reviewing a loan application. For this reason, Farmers State Bank should consider increasing the number of loans in order to improve small business performance and the local economy.